everybody. Welcome to Finding Jesus. It is my very first episode with a guest, and I think that I picked the perfect person for this. I would like to introduce you to my sister. This is Jamie Thompson, and she's known me my whole life. She's older than me by about 6 years, and she has a pretty amazing journey, and she could have her own podcast and tell you all about the things that God's doing in her life. But I asked her if she would come on today and share a little bit about how she has found Jesus in the middle of a very unique journey, and that's through foster care. So now that I've introduced you and done that for you, just give us like a brief couple of minutes, who you are, like your family, life, roles, jobs in a nutshell.
Okay, so you already introduced me. I'm Jamie Thompson. And normally I introduce myself by saying I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, because when I'm introducing myself, that's kind of who I'm introducing myself to is my clients. But that's just one part of who I am. I'm a mom of 5 children, 2 biological and 3 adopted children. And I've been married to my husband, Dustin, for 21 years, 20 years. We're going on 21 this year, 20 years. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
So interesting that you say I always introduce myself as what I do, because we actually did an entire episode about that, about the hats that we wear, the roles that we play, and especially as moms, I feel like we wear tons of different hats. So very cool. So just tell us a little bit about your journey, the decision that you and Dustin made together to get into fostering. Like, what sparked that in you? Because you did adopt through foster care. Right. So what started the foster care journey for you?
I guess that probably started years ago. I say years ago, maybe when I was a teenager. I had this like desire that God put in my heart that we would adopt one day, that I would adopt one day. I told the story when we had our adoption ceremony to everybody that came. I actually remember sitting in our office space when I was in the Navy, and Dustin and I were just kind of newlyweds. We had not been married very long, but I remember sitting there in our office space, and I would be looking on Adopt US Kids, and I would constantly be looking up like sibling groups, kids that needed a home. And I think that probably started from when we were kids, because our house was like a revolving door.
Yeah.
We had people coming in and out and living with us. Our parents like constantly welcomed people in. So I think it was just a part of our hearts that our parents instilled in us, that we're just an open door and we wanted to be Jesus to whoever came through our doors.
Yeah. So what was like the spark? Because it was something, I remember you even saying that you had a dream like years ago before you actually started the journey. And you said, I had a dream that I adopted, right? That you adopted 3 kids. And then both of us were in a different season in life, and we actually started the fostering journey together.
Yep. That was all your fault.
Right. I take full responsibility for that, because we did. We kind of said, I had went through a miscarriage and wanted to grow my family, and it wasn't going to look the way I thought that it would traditionally. So I said, hey, how about foster care? So we went through the process together.
Yeah, you knew that was on my heart. And I think you came to me when you were in that season and you were like, hey, I'm really serious about this foster care thing. And for those of you who do know me, I am a procrastinator. Jordan is not. So you were kind of like the spark that said, all right, let's do this. Let's actually do this. And we went through the classes together, me and you and Dustin.
Yeah, I kind of pushed you over the ledge.
Yeah.
And started the journey that was probably not at all what we expected it to be.
Nothing.
I think that we all go into like foster care, that process, with like the noblest of intentions, and like we just have in our minds that it's going to be packaged so neatly and perfectly. And that hasn't been the case. Can you share just a little bit about that, kind of what your expectations were for foster care versus what it ended up kind of looking like?
Well, I think originally we thought, we'll foster 1, maybe 2, and we'll do this a little bit at a time, and then we'll kind of get a feel for it, and then the perfect whatever scenario will come about, and then we'll just know deep in our heart, like, this is the one we're supposed to adopt. And that is not what it looked like at all. It was like God said, ha ha ha. So we actually ended up, well, you know the story because you were with me the day we picked up. We got a phone call at, I don't know, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon and said, hey, we have a sibling set of 4.
Yeah.
Since there's 2 of you sisters, we figured you guys could take all 4 of them. You get 2 and I get 2.
Yeah.
And so we packed up the van and
Went to Walmart,
and
bought all the things.
bought all the things that night and went and picked up 4 siblings.
Yeah, which is like a surreal moment to look back on. That was in 2018, December of 2018. So yeah, it did. It was way different than we expected, and it was a roller coaster. I think anybody who has like been in the foster care world knows that it is such a roller coaster when you're waiting on a call. And even looking back on it, I feel somewhat guilty waiting on a call because you're waiting on a very traumatic thing. And that's probably God had already kind of knit you as a person to be so prepared for that scenario because you have the training to know how to help people who have been through trauma. And, you know, no matter what the scenario is that causes children to be removed from their biological families, it's trauma when they're removed. Yeah.